Right, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum. Last week we already looked at importing data to R, but last lecture we already looked how to import CSV file to R and Excel file to R and another type of file which is a text document yang ada pelbagai delimiter separated value. So for example comma separated value, lagi kita tengok space separated value, space delimiter, and then kita tengok tab delimiter, semicolon delimiter punya file, how to import that file to our environment. And then we also look at how to import Excel file to R, right, using read Excel package, right. And then we also look at how to import SPSS data file into R environment, startup file, and then last one is SAS file to R. So today we're going to look at for today lecture is very short lecture. We just want to finish up what we have discussed last lecture, which is importing data from web, right? So let's say we want to import data from website, right? Let's say let's say I tengok satu website. Saya buka satu website, apa yang nak buka? Let's say I buka data.gov.my. Website data.gov.my. Sekarang nampak? Let's say I ulang semula sekali lagi. So I go to data.gov.my, right? So now I tekan senarai semua dataset. So let's say I pilih satu lah, kos sara diri bagi komuniti ternakan di Negeri Sembilan, right? So kalau you nampak dekat sini dia ada 4 dataset. So kita pergi ke jelajah. And then boleh tekan muat turun tu. Sama ada you nak tekan terus muat turun and then import the data using conventional way macam sebelum ni you belajar pun boleh, ataupun you just right click, copy link. Right? So kita tahu dekat sini this is a .csv dataset lah. .csv dataset, right? So you pergi ke R, right? You just paste URL kat sini. Dia punya URL tadi lah, URL yang kita nak download the file, right? So we're going to use read underscore CSV function. So read underscore CSV function is under library read R, right? So kita nak download, this is download data.csv from data.gov.my. So copy, letak URL dekat bawah lah. So first kita kena panggil library read R, right? And then this is the URL, right? Make sure you run the URL, and then kita menggunakan read underscore CSV, right? I store the data to data1 read underscore CSV, and then I letak URL dalam ni lah. So that's basically itu saja. Kenapa tak boleh? You all boleh buat tak? Boleh download tak? Kejap
Sir, boleh sharekan link tak?
Link, okey, sekejap Sekejap, I try tengok dalam ni boleh download tak. Kadang dia tak boleh download. Ya, yang tadi I tak boleh download pasal dia tak ada data dalam ni. Right, so let's say kita tengok something yang ada data lah. Oh, internal server error. Kejap I cari satu data yang okey sikit yang ada dalam. Maybe website ni problem lah. So, let's say tak apa, kita ambil satu website yang I data dalam CDC lah. Right, ada satu link yang I boleh bagi. Maybe the website dia ada masalah isu dengan website dia. So, you download data. This is the link. You ambil data dalam link dia dalam Google Meet. So, I tukar. Let's say, I nak ambil data daripada CDC website. CDC. So, I replace the URL ni. I letak link yang I nak. So, make sure satu code saja. Right. Oops. Alright. Boleh? So, now, I run dia punya URL. And then, letak data 1. Data tu dalam data 1. So, dia akan download. So, kalau you nampak dekat sini, dia already download the data to R. So, you no need to download manually and save dalam komputer you and panggil balik. So, you don't need to do that. So, you just ambil dalam website, just download directly. So, this is how we download data from URL. Let's say we look at the data. Dimension of the data, we have 10,600 observation and 31 variables. Let's look at the names of the data. So, this is the variable names. Right. Let's look at head of data 1 for first 5 variables. Right, so data tunjuk sebab because this is in term of table punya presentation lah. Right, kalau kita nak dapatkan bentuk macam .csv, read.csv, kita boleh menggunakan another function which is library data.table. So if you don't have the library, please download the library data.table. First of all, the first step you boleh dapat kan? Boleh?
Boleh, sir.
Alright. So, another function using read.table package. Sekejap mana tak. Dalam read.table, we have another function called as fread. Let's say I letak data to fread. I letak URL. So, dia akan baca lah. So, if you can see, sebenarnya sama juga dengan read_csv. But, if you using head function for data 2, so dia akan keluar semua lah apa yang kita nak saja. So, dia tak sama macam sorry, this is ni baru betul. Kita nak keluarkan 5 variables, right, for the first 6 observation. Right, kalau kita menggunakan read_csv, so apa yang dia akan keluar dalam bentuk table. Right, benda yang sama juga, but dalam bentuk table. So 5 observation, sini pun 5 observation juga, benda yang sama. Right, if you want to view the data, maybe it's not really practical because we have 10,000 observation. So dia akan slow down your PC lah. If your PC is having a limited RAM, so dia akan slowing down your PC. Right. So this is how we download the data from a website, right? So now let's try to download another data. So I think website yang mula-mula tunjuk ni, data.gov.my, this morning okay, but I think just now dia ada problem sikit. So we cannot download now. Let's say kita tengok satu data. Still internal server error. So another website that you can download the data which is Kaggle, right? You masuk Kaggle, right? You pergi ke data. Of course, kalau you nak masuk Kaggle website ni, kaggle.com, you need to sign in first lah. Baru you boleh masuk. So they have a lot of data set here, right? Let's say kita tengok COVID impact on airport traffic, right? So let's say kat sini dia ada download, you boleh download the data, right? Ataupun you just copy the link, right? Kita tak tahu dia punya link ni apa Let's say, so dia tak ada. So sometimes dia will take a lot of time lah. Oh, so dia dalam bentuk zip file. Right, let's say I download this zip file ni, right? Zip file yang I download ni, kalau kita tengok dekat sini, so dia ada satu file .csv, right? So now, let's say zip file ni I letak dalam, dia akan letak dalam download file kan? I copy this one. Just copy. Kalau I tak nak copy pun tak apalah. Ataupun I copy tunjuk. Satu contoh I nak tunjuk. I letak dekat desktop. Right, I letak dekat desktop. So nama dia archive 1. So now, let's say I setting my working directory to desktop. So I letak kat desktop, click open. So now I nak tunjuk macam mana I nak download zip file without opening it. Import zip file without extracting the file inside the zip file, right? So sangat senang, since we already know that the file inside the zip file is a CSV file. So let's look at the directory. So this is the file that I'm going to extract. So let's say I store it into a data tree. So the function that I'm going to use is from a library read R package. So data tree read underscore CSV, and then just copy this one and paste. So kalau kita nampak dekat sini, data tree is already inside our environment. Let's say dimension data tree. So we have 5,936 observation and 11 variables. Right? So far, do you have any problem? Do you have any issue?
Sir,
Yep.
yang ReadR tu kan kita dah install lah kan minggu lepas kan?
Yes,
Sebab
yes.
saya tak boleh baca. Padahal saya dah ni.
One thing, kalau you tak boleh install directly, install package, you tak boleh guna install package, sometimes dia ada problem dengan RCPP, right? So you try to import, guna file, import dataset from text. Boleh tak download daripada sini? Kalau you tak download lagi, dia akan starting to download your package lah. If you already download, you akan nampak dialog box macam ni. You nampak dialog box macam ni? Boleh? So if you already nampak dialog box macam ni, so basically you boleh panggil library read R lah. You boleh panggil macam ni. Right? So you tak ada issue lah dekat sini. Right? So we already know from read R package read._csv, kita boleh download the data.csv directly, or we can download the data.csv from zip file. Right? Right. Any issue so far? So now, so far we already look at how to import the data .csv file from the web, right? And we already look at how to import the data zip file, right? Tapi kalau kita boleh download daripada website pun also okay, right? Let's say kita tengok boleh tak download. Let's say I boleh copy link tak? Maybe I try. I'm not sure. Data 4 read_csv. I just letak the link. Boleh tak download? Yeah, sure. Tapi tak samalah. Dia tak boleh nak download a zip file from web lah. Right? Maybe this is something faulty menggunakan zip file from web. Tu tak boleh download directly from web. Right, now let's look at how to import Excel file from web. So, I ada satu link yang I dah cari. I'm not sure whether it can work or not, because this is from data.gov.my. So boleh tengok link dia. I letak dalam chat room. So this is a URL 1. Right. So this data is Excel file, XLSX file from data.gov.my. Right, to download the data, Excel data from website, we need to download the data and store it into the temporary file. And then we call the data from the temporary file. So we no need to download physical file. Basically, we are downloading the physical file into the temporary file lah. Right. So we're going to use some library, which is library HTTR. Right. If you don't have the library HTTR, you need to download the HTTR library. Right. And then we need to call library read XL. Right. And then this is the URL that we are focusing. URL1. And then I want to download the data. I'm using get function, right? URL1. And then I'm going to store this data into a temporary file. Right? Temporary file, TF lah. TF, temporary file. And then file extension is .xlsx. Right? So is it? Yeah. So I'm downloading the data into and I store it into a temporary file using get. So you nampak kan? Get URL1 where the location of the file, and then I nak store benda file ni yang I download ni dalam temporary file. So I start dalam TF. So this is the object TF yang I letak dalam temporary file. Right. So then I will call the data 4 read underscore Excel. So I panggil dataset dalam TF ni lah. So basically, wait sekejap. Basically I dah download the data, right? So apa proses yang kita dah buat dekat sini means that we no need to download physically the file into our drive, right? And store it into our working directory. Instead, kita download the file and store it into a temporary file, where the temporary file is just a temporary. So we read from the temporary file. So this coding working with Windows platform, Windows OS. So let's look at the dimension of data 4. So we have 32 observation and 17 variable. Right. So let's say let's view the data. So that's why when we are downloading website dataset, we need to know some of the dataset are not following our criteria. So we might get this kind of dataset, but later, once we already download the dataset, we need to do some cleaning process lah. We need to delete all the nodes and make sure the first observation, the first row is our the first row is our variable name, right? And the second row starting with our data, right? So remember, we are downloading the data from a website. So downloading data from website doesn't mean it will follow our criteria, right? We need to do some cleaning, right? So far, ada soalan? So let's say kita download another data set, which is .xls. Same function, right? XLS is previous version of Excel file. So this is the file link I dah bagi dalam chat room. So this is downloading .xls file from net. Oops. So same function, same step, URL, let's say URL2, I letak dia punya link ni tu, right? And then I just copy the previous function, right? Get URL2, right? I just change this one to URL2 instead of .xlsx, so I just cancel out x dekat belakang because this is .xls file, right? So I store this file into data 5, then I will call the data, right? So dimension of data 5, we have 10 observation and 9 variables. Let's say we look at the names of the data 5. So still the same problem lah. So we need to rectify the problem or do some cleaning of the data, right? So any problem so far? Do you have any problem so far? Any question? So if you don't have any problem, then we need to proceed to the next topic, which is the last topic for today. A very simple topic, which is how to exporting data file to others file, which is terletak to tab delimiter lah, right, .txt. Right, to export file, we are using library foreign library. So let's say I nak create satu variable, satu object in R, which is data. Try to look at this data lah. This data, is it okay or not okay? Right, I think this data is okay. Data 1. So I nak create data 1 ni, I nak letak dalam our working directory. Means I'm going to convert this data instead of this is a CSV file. I'm going to export it to text document, which is having a tab delimited criteria lah. So I'm going to use write.table data1, and then I'm going to store the name of the data, which is let's say data1, ataupun this is what type of data, this one, let's say I letak measure lah, measure.txt, right, and then the separator value is tab delimiter, separated by tab. Where is this one? Yep. So basically we already export the data lah. So let's look at the working directory. My working directory is at document desktop. So kalau kita tengok dekat sini, desktop, I already have the data set, which is measure. So this is the data set that I already export to the desktop lah. So this is a very large data file. So basically not very large lah, but it have 10,000 observation. So this is the data separated by tab. So let's say I'm going to export the data to .csv file. So if you want to export .csv file, so we just change the function to write.csv data1. Data1 is our R object, current R object. This is the data1 yang I nak import. This is the data1 yang I nak export, sorry. So the next argument is our file name. So let's say I letak measure222.csv. So this is the data file yang I nak export, right? So I just hit enter, right? So when I just hit enter, so you can nampak dekat sini measure 22. So let's say I right click, open with notepad. So you can see the data set are separated by comma, right? Separated by comma. So this is the data set that I already export lah. So now let's look at the data set from Excel perspective. So if you look at the data set, you nampak tak the first variable, if you look at the original data set, data1, right, data1, the names. So the first variable is year, but when I export using write.csv, right, so the first variable dia ada tambah satu sequence 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right. So now, to look at the problem, let's look at the function help file of write.csv help file. So write.csv, kalau kita tengok dekat sini, row names equal to true. So maksudnya apa yang dia buat tadi tu is not dia tambah satu sequence variable. Maksudnya dia akan letak row name. Maksudnya the first variable is a row name. Row number 1, row number 2, row number 3. Dia kata letak macam tu lah. So to exclude that function, we just need to add another argument, which is row dot names equal to false, and we hit enter. So now kalau kita tengok balik measure 22, so there are no row name dah, dia tak ada dah. So this is how we export the .csv file lah. Any questions so far? Any question? Right. So we moving forward. Kita tengok satu lagi. How to export Excel file. Right. So how to export into Excel file. So exporting to .xlsx contoh. Right. Ataupun XLX lah. Kita tengok one by one file. So we are using library open XLX. Open XLSX. So this is the library that we're going to use. If you don't have this library, you need to download the library open XLSX. Right. So let's say I want to export this data, right, to Excel file. Right. So now let's look at the function write.xlsx. So the function having not much argument, right? Kita tengok dekat sini write.xls, kita ada x, which is the object that we want to export, and file is the file destination, right? The file name yang kita nak create. As table equal to false, maksudnya we're as table write data table opposed to write data. Right. So let's look at there are a lot of argument lagi. Let's say kita tengok dekat sini dia ada freeze pane, write data, add worksheet, create workbook, save workbook. So sheet name, kita boleh tambah sheet name dekat sini. Let's say kita nak letak dia sebagai sheet number 1, number 2, number 3. Going to create a name of the worksheet. And then kita boleh tambah tab color. Right, nanti kita tak penting lah. Let's say kita tengok column name. If true, the column name are X are written. Row name are written. And then kita nak tengok lagi ada apa lagi. Let's look at how they use the function. So dia menggunakan file. This is the file name yang dia create. Call names true, border equal to surrounding, and this is the option lah that we are not going to we are not interested with others special argument. Now let write the function .xlx, and the object that we're going to export is data1. Let's say I'm going to export to data, so let's say measure 33.xls, right? And sheet name Adakah sheet name? Sheet name, let's say sheet 12 contoh, right? And then letak call.names call.name equal to true. Kejap, call.name ada ke? Dia kata call names equal to true, right? Equal to true, right? Let's try this one first. So now dia dah export the Excel file. Kita tengok dalam desktop, there should be measure 33, right? So this is measure 33, right? Yep. And then the sheet name I dah tukar kepada sheet 12. So nampak tak dia tukar? And then this is the variable name, call names, and then this is the data set, right? So this is .xls. So this is the oldest Microsoft Excel dataset, right? You also can change it to the current file, which is .xlsx. Let's say this is data measure 44, right? So kalau kita tengok sini, benda yang sama lah. So kita boleh change it to .xlsx. So benda yang sama. So kita tengok right click properties, this is .xlsx. So far, do you have any problem? Any issue you want to rise out? So now let's look at the last one, exporting to SPSS data file, which is .sav. Right. So to export .sav, we're going to use library foreign library, right? So in foreign library, I just write .foreign, right? In write.foreign, kita tengok dekat sini, kita tengok dia function write.foreign. So write.foreign function export simple data frame to other statistical package by writing data as free format text and writing separate file of instruction for other package to read data. So basically we're going to create a separate file, right? Which is code file, means text file, right? Dia kata dekat sini we're going to create a text file and writing a separate SPSS or starter file lah. So in this package function, we can convert the dataset to SPSS, starter, or SAS. Right, ada 3 package yang kita boleh download, export lah. So I'm going to show you how to export to SPSS. For a starter and SAS file, please figure it out as your assignment. Right, let's say now I'm going to export data 1 to, this is the file object, and I'm going to create data 2.txt. This is the text document that I'm going to create, right? And then this is the next argument is our file, which is data 2.sav, The .sav file is SPSS data file. So package, I'm going to use SPSS. So if you look at the desktop, kita nampak dekat sini, this is the data 2 that I already created for SPSS data file. I think your task is to find how to export SAS data file to a SAS data file and starter data file, right? Okay. Right. I think that's all. Thank you very much.